This is so irresponsible, but they don't care. They're trying to spark a race war, is what they're trying to do. Trying to get a black teen, if that, maybe a black 12-year-old killed. Black teen, if that, maybe a black 12-year-old killed. Black teen, if that, maybe a black 12-year-old killed. All right, guys, we got to talk about this. So you know how we basically have a bunch of young groyper idiots who are staffing the Republican politicians' campaigns and their cabinets and stuff? Well, now that's all coming to a head because, you know, you're seeing them tweet casual Nazi memes, you know, subtle hidden Heil Hitler stuff, remigrate, which is just a euphemism for ethnic cleansing. Now you have the Department of Homeland Security is trying to start a race war based on fake news and lies. Here's one example right here. So Homeland Security tweets the following. If you threaten or lay hands on our law enforcement officers, we will hunt you down and you will find out really quick. We'll see you cowards soon. So they tweet this video. We're going to take a look at this video. Ready? So it's a 10-second video. I'm going to mute it because it's copyright music that's playing. But it says on the screen here, ICE, we're on the way. Word in the streets, cartels put a $50K bounty on y'all. And so it's a group of black kids, black teenagers, and, you know, this one's trying to make like a scary looking face or whatever, and cover, you know, putting the mask over his mouth. But the idea is, it looks like they're sort of threatening ICE. They're threatening ICE and saying we're working with the cartels or whatever to make $50,000 by killing you. So look at this. Ready? Now again, look at how young these black kids are. I'm actually not even sure. Some of them might not even be teens, right? Like they might be teens, but some of them look like they might even be younger. This could be like a 12-year-old, right? But Homeland Security tweets this out. Okay, ready for the reality? Here is the original video that they've changed the text on. So this was tweeted in the wake of Trump attacking Iran. This was tweeted. This video with the text, "You seen what we can do. Don't say something that you can't finish, Iran. We are already united. We all stand. We want all the smoke." So here we go. So this was a video, like a bunch of... Kid's got fucking braces. Again, he's like 12 years old. This is a video of... If anything, it's sort of like... I mean, I don't think these people are outright political, but it's sort of like a subtle pro-Trump thing, if anything. Because they're basically like joking and threatening Iran here. And pretending like, yeah, you want to fuck with us? Like, we'll help you up. We're America. So if anything, it's like a tacit agreement with Trump illegally bombing Iran. And Department of Homeland Security just lied and now put a target on this kid's back by pretending he's threatening ICE agents. This is so irresponsible, but they don't care. They're trying to spark a race war, is what they're trying to do. Trying to get a black teen, if that, maybe a black 12-year-old killed. All right, ready? So here's the kid. The young man responds.
So I'm getting these mad messages from my DMs and social media and on my comments. And I randomly get a text message talking about a recent video that was posted on my account. I was like, what are y'all talking about? By the way, I'm sick, so if I sound weird, yeah. I get threats daily on IG and everywhere all over my social media all of a sudden due to an old video I posted months ago about Iran. Iran, that was not to be a threat. It was literally a joke, bro. Like, seriously, it's just content. Anyways, once I seen that video that was posted on my account, then I was like, what the hell? Well, didn't I post this like months ago? Then I seen the caption, and then I was like, wait, I didn't do that. I still got the video saved on my draft from months ago on TikTok, bro. I'm gonna pull it up right here. Now, here's the alpha part. The federal government is involved with something that I didn't do. Like, what? So this is what they reposted off my TikTok. That video got taken down. So here's what they reposted on their page. Now, that video is going crazy on Twitter, bro. Now, I'm a threat to the government with something that I didn't do, bro. Now, I'm being called a wannabe YN, a wannabe gangster over a video that I didn't caption or I didn't post. So thankful my followers for letting me know about this, because seriously, this is getting out of hand. Like, literally, this is going crazy, viral all over social media right now. Probably might end up being on the news, bro. So my apologies for that contradiction and rumors from happening. I know my First Amendment, but I did not post that video. So to clear that out, I did not post that video. And I apologize for all the rumors that is going around right now on social media about this conflict.
They smeared this kid and they defamed this kid. And now he's got to come out and be like, wait, I didn't say that. I didn't do that. It was a joke video against Iran. Think about how crazy this is. Like, the lack of accountability, the lack of common sense, the lack of concern for others. I mean, it literally is just like griped up idiots running the Department of Homeland Security account. I'm sure other accounts. You got white nationalists and Proud Boys and Klansmen and all sorts of getting the positions at ICE, basically like deputized redneck street thugs. And like, look at what they're trying to do. These are not people that are interested in creating a better country, like improving the country for people. These are people that are interested in division and hatred is what they are. And so here we are. Now, by the way, there will probably be zero accountability for this, zero consequences for this. Because you see what happens. The other week, you had the Republicans group chat leak, and they're saying, like, I love Hitler, and let's put our enemies in the gas chamber. And J.D. Vance comes out and says, boys will be boys, kids will be kids.
Vice President J.D. Vance is downplaying the leak of a racist and hate-filled group chat among young Republicans exposed by Politico as, quote, pearl clutching. In it, the members referred to black people as monkeys and the watermelon people, and mused about putting their political opponents in gas chambers. They also talked about raping their enemies and driving them to suicide, and lauded Republicans who they believed support slavery.
Focusing on what kids are saying in a group chat, grow up. I'm sorry. Focus on the real issues. Don't focus on what kids say in group chats. If you put something in a group chat, assume that some scumbag is going to leak it in an effort to try to cause you harm or cause your family harm. But the reality is that kids do stupid things, especially young boys. They tell edgy, offensive jokes. Like, that's what kids do. And I really don't want us to grow up in a country where a kid telling a stupid joke, telling a very offensive stupid joke, is cause to ruin their lives. And at some point, we're all going to have to say, enough of this BS.
Meanwhile, the chat is for people between ages 18 and 40. I'm 37. I could technically be in the young Republicans group chat, right?
I just say, as the mother of a boy and a girl, I was like, my son would never do that. Ever, period, full stop. Having said that, the vice president dismisses this. That's something that kids do, particularly boys, and it's not very smart. But you make a very good point that they're actually adults, that there are many of these people on this group chat. They work inside government. In fact, isn't there one who's a state senator? I mean,
exactly.
Tell us about this whole group.
Even if they were kids, how excusable should this be? But they're not kids. To be in membership in the Young Republican clubs, you can be as old as 40. That's effectively a J.D. Vance peer. These were folks who were in positions of leadership and influence, folks who formerly worked for New York legislatures, someone who is currently a sitting state senator in Vermont and being pressured by his fellow Republicans, the governor, and others in the legislature to resign his positions.
And J.D. Vance is defending it. So if they can't even condemn, I love Hitler and let's put our enemy in the gas chambers, and they called NBA basketball monkey ball, and what are the chances that somebody's going to step in and hold the tough and griped up idiot running that account accountable? Next to nothing. Next to zero. Next to zero. And so now this kid's got to walk around thinking, is somebody going to cuff and murder me over a fake video that I didn't say the things in that video? I wasn't cuffing threatening ICE.
This week, the Supreme Court has allowed the Trump administration to continue conducting immigration raids critics say are based on racial profiling.
This is really a transformation in the way that the country has previously thought about what suspicion means.
The decision puts a hold on a lower court restraining order in California that barred federal law enforcement from detaining people based on perceived race, ethnicity, language, or workplace. The original lawsuit by the American Civil Liberties Union stems from ICE raids at Los Angeles home improvement stores, car washes, and other places frequented by Latinos.
This changes nothing about what the law is.
The ACLU in Massachusetts says that doesn't mean federal law enforcement won't challenge those rights on the ground.
No one can be stopped because of how they look. U.S.
Attorney General Pam Bondi celebrated the SCOTUS emergency ruling, saying ICE can now carry out roving patrols without judicial micromanagement. Constitutional professor Jeremy Paul says even though the ruling technically applies to L.A. and is not a national precedent, it still raises concerns about how ICE agents might behave in places like Boston.
But it's not just undocumented people. I have
no.
interviewed
I
American
remember-
citizens.
I saw this.
who
You
have
went
been-
to Chicago.
Yes,
yeah, I saw
yeah,
this. Yeah.
yeah.
American citizens are being rounded, brown and black people
Yep.
more broadly,
Yep.
and it includes American citizens. As you said, there was a kid saying, "I'm an American citizen."
He's a citizen! He's a citizen!
A takedown by immigration officers recorded outside a Walgreens store as loved ones pleaded for his release.
You don't know what's going on, so get the back!
It happened after federal agents were seen swarming the store, appearing to be in search of someone.
When he called for backup, other people come in, and that's when I start to leave.
But Warren King says he didn't get far from the exit before being tackled to the ground by a federal agent and placed under arrest. The 19-year-old is now left with scars, both physical and mental.
I'm telling them I'm a U.S. citizen. I'm here. I'm legal. I'm born here. So they didn't try to hear none of that though.
It all apparently stems from this collision captured on video at nearby 105th and Avenue N, showing Border Patrol agents in this white truck crashing into a red SUV Tuesday morning. It happened following a chase that residents say circled the neighborhood for nearly 30 minutes after Homeland Security says the driver, an alleged undocumented immigrant, rammed into their agent's vehicle.
I just graduated high school, so they could come from literally anybody. And that's not right.
You got people out here locking people up for no reason. I'm born here.
You said you're born here?
Yeah, I'm born here. Kings County Hospital, Brooklyn. I'm born here. I'm gonna get on my fuck up. Yeah, broke ass. Fuck. Clown ass niggas. Suck my. Suck my. Yo, suck.
Officer of the DC Bar, that these officers are violating my civil rights under federal law, and I will be pressing charges on everyone who has physically touched me tonight, who has applied pressure to me in ways that I will not forget anytime soon. This is tragic. In a country where black men are being killed by people that look just like this, I was sneered at, I was ignored, and I was not told why I was being detained.
What are the names of the two officers holding you right now?
This officer at Costello, he has his name blocked off. I do not know what it is, and I don't want to touch him for fear of my life. This is an FBI agent who I do not know.
Aren't they only allowed to hold you for 10 minutes without charging you?
They are trying to manufacture evidence. I do not have a magazine in my weapon because my magazine is in the trunk of my vehicle, which they would have known if they would have asked me. To the American people watching, this is what calling out a failed system looks like. Again, I was walking peacefully down this block, and I was accosted by 20, no less than 20 MPD, FBI, ATF agents and officers. I am not crazy. I am totally sane. I have complied with all of these officers' requests, and 30 minutes after being detained, I remain detained and not created able to go. I do not know what charges. I do not know why I'm being detained. I was given no information. No officers are offering me any type of credence, no type of respite, nothing. Simply stand here, you niggas, and be handcuffed while we wait to find magazines that do not exist, or we will find one for you. I assume that is the case.
I'm American citizen, and it didn't matter. The fact that people are saying to us, you need to carry a passport. This is traveling within...
Show me your papers.
Within the states.
I know.
Not going abroad, we have to now carry our passports. I carry my passport with me all the time.
If they look at it, Karine, because they won't. I interviewed a man who
100%.
said, I had my birth certificate, I had my state ID
100%.
card,
Yep,
and my
I saw
social
that.
security card. They didn't want to look at it. 10 hours he was in detention.
Yeah.
The major problem of Israel is with the young generation of the black community. Black Lives Matter starts there. I had last week a dinner, sit-down dinner at my house with 40 people, which are considered the leadership of the black community.
First of all, I am Jew also. The 12 lost tribes of Hebrew. Do the math. Do your research on it. we have got our culture ripped from us and then told we were just simply void of color, which is another definition for black. But if we knew we were a culture and knew we were a people the way the Jewish people know, then we wouldn't abort ourselves. We wouldn't shoot each other dead in the streets and then rap about it. We wouldn't brag about, having sex with each other's wives. We would keep our families together and we would do business together. The most dangerous place for a black person in America is actually in our mother's stomachs, because 50% of black deaths a year in America is abortion currently.
Hitler was, and the Nazis, of course, expanded on Margaret Sanger's approach to eugenics, right? Eugenics was a movement that was born in the United States under hard doctrines of racism with the intent of eliminating the tribe of Judah in the African-American community in this country, right? To eliminate them.
No, if I said black people, what would you think? If that was what I posted.
Well, did you accept that you accepted that black people are Jew? Or
I'll come to that in a moment.
We're finishing now part 2, chapter 2. And what we've said so far is that people have free will and their actions are, some are good and some are evil. And by the way, the Rambam writes explicitly that everyone has some good actions and some bad actions. Everyone. And he takes it for granted that there'll be a variety. We talked about the fact that this world and the next world are asymmetrical. The next world is where the majority of a person's actions, which determine his identity, are compensated. For the righteous, they exist in the world to come and they're rewarded. And for those whose major complexion is black, are excluded from the world to come.
I said, crime is at a level like we've never seen. It's rampant, it's rising. Okay, he interrupts me. I'm sorry, sir. Crime in this country has gone down. I said, without looking at numbers, is there anybody in this room that think that crime has gone down? It's gone through the roof, and largely because of migrant crime. It's not only that. In New York, you can't walk into a drugstore now. It's like you're in a prison of glass. If you want to buy aspirin, you have to wait 45 minutes for a clerk to come up and open because what's gone on. And every drugstore, I just lost one. I had a nice tenant. I just lost a tenant. I had a beautiful tenant at 40 Wall Street. I just lost a tenant. They opened a big chain drugstore. Big, beautiful chain. They opened. They were doing such great business. 40 Wall Street, right across from the stock exchange. They gave me notice. They said, we're going to have to close because the shelves, the people walk in, they just take everything they want. They walk out of the store. What the hell is going on? See, we have to let the police do their job. And if they have to be extraordinarily rough. And the funny thing with all of that stuff, look at the department stores, same thing. They walk into you see these guys walking out with air conditioners, with refrigerators on their back, the craziest thing. And the police aren't allowed to do their job. They're told, if you do anything, you're going to lose your pension, you're going to lose your family, your house, your car. The police want to do it. The Border Patrol wants to do it. Border Patrol, they're incredible. They want to do it. They're not allowed to do it because the liberal left won't let them do it. The liberal left wants to destroy them, and they want to destroy our country. If you had one day, like one real rough, nasty day with the drugstores as an example, where when they start walking out with, she created something in San Francisco, $950 you're allowed to steal. Anything above that, you will be prosecuted. Well, it works out that the $950 is a misnomer because you can steal whatever you want, you can go way above. But you'd see, originally you saw kids walk in with calculators. They were calculating. They didn't want to go over the $950. They're standing with calculators, adding it up. These are smart people. They're not so stupid, but they have to be taught. Now, if you had one really violent day, like a guy like Mike Kelly, put him in charge. Congressman Kelly, put him in charge for one day. Mike, would you say, he's right here, He's a great congressman. Would you say, Mike, that if you were in charge, you would say, oh, please, don't touch them, don't touch them. Let them rob your store. All these stores go out of business, right? They don't pay rent. Then the city doesn't have money. It's a chain of events that's so bad. One rough hour, and I mean real rough, the word will get out and it will end immediately. End immediately. You know, it'll end immediately. We are the party of common sense. I knew that once they had open borders, all of the countries, I didn't think about all over the world. I thought in South America, it's all over the world. Last week, a lot of people came in from the Congo, a big prison in the Congo in Africa. Welcome to the United States. They came in from the Congo. They came in from the Congo. They came in from the Congo. They don't pay rent. Then the city doesn't have money. It's a chain of events that's so bad. One rough hour, and I mean real rough, the word will get out and it will end immediately. End immediately. You know, it'll end immediately.
Now, you know that we have kept a group identity for thousands of years. And then let's say, by the way, that you have 16 generations ago, your mother's, so forth and so on, right, was not Jewish. But that doesn't mean that her child isn't Jewish, because the child can count as a convert. If the child is dedicated to the Jewish religion, then that child will count as Jewish. Wasn't born Jewish. But the fact that you're not born Jewish doesn't mean you're not Jewish. If you attach yourself to the Jewish religion, then you can be Jewish without being born Jewish. So it doesn't mean that you're not Jewish. It just means you don't have a line going all the way back to that. But then, who cares about that? Why is that important?
It just doesn't matter. 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 It just doesn't matter.
What we're gonna do right here is go back, way back into time.
You better believe that I hate the people that took this girl and raped her brutally. You better believe it. And it's more than anger, it's hatred. And I want society to hate them.
But the five boys, ages 14 to 16, had falsely confessed to the crime after hours of police interrogations. They were later tried, convicted, and sentenced to prison. But vindication for the group, known as the Central Park Five, came in 2002, when a convicted murderer and rapist confessed to the crime. And that confession was then corroborated by DNA. The prison sentences of the Central Park Five were overturned, but by that time they had already served between 5 and 13 years. In 2014, the men were awarded a $40 million settlement from New York City. The story that had gripped the city for years came to a close. And yet one Manhattan resident's obsession with the case continues to this day. Just weeks after the crime was committed in 1989, Donald Trump took out a full-page ad in 4 New York newspapers advocating the return of the death penalty. And when the city awarded the men a settlement in 2014, Trump wrote an editorial in the Daily News calling the settlement a disgrace. And now, even now, as the presidential nominee for the Republican Party, Trump hasn't allowed science or evidence to change his initial reaction to the case. Just this week, Trump said he still considers the men, again, exonerated by the criminal justice system and by DNA scientific evidence, guilty, issuing a statement saying, quote, they admitted they were guilty. The police doing the original investigation say they were guilty. The fact that case was settled with so much evidence against them is outrageous. The woman so badly injured will never be the same.
Of course I hate these people. And let's all hate these people, because maybe hate is what we need if we're going to get something done.
What we're gonna do right here is go back, way back into time.
Markey, overnight, the president-elect announcing on Truth Social that he is prepared to tackle immigration by declaring a national emergency. The president-elect confirmed reports that his administration will use military assets to enforce mass deportation, saying the plans will, quote, reverse the Biden invasion of immigrants coming into the U.S. Our partners over at The Hill report over 1.5 million people currently live and work in the country and have a humanitarian or temporary legal status. They are at risk of being pushed out by the Trump administration. Mass deportations, this is something that Trump has long promised on the campaign trail. He recently brought on former ICE Director Tom Homan as his border czar. Homan, a staunch critic of Biden border policies and a supporter of Trump's plans for mass deportations, has already told illegal immigrants to start packing.
Because, honey, he's going to give the military and the police permission to shoot you in your back, and there will be no immunity.
Trump has repeatedly said that he plans to declare a national emergency and use the military to enact his mass deportations. He hasn't revealed many details beyond that, though. So how would that work? How would declaring an emergency enable him to then enact mass deportations?
Well, I think there are going to be a lot of legal questions as to whether and to what extent he can use the military for that purpose and declare a national emergency. But I think the idea is to leverage resources that the military has to bolster what Immigration and Customs Enforcement and Department of Homeland Security more generally have. We do have to remember back to the experience of the first Trump administration. They attempted to use the National Guard. In fact, then Governor Kristi Noem sent the South Dakota National Guard to support border control efforts. And generally, that is remembered as a sort of a non-entity in the sense that there really was not much that troops not trained in border control, not trained in immigration enforcement, really could do to bolster those efforts. And so the question is, how is this time going to be different?
Of course I hate these people. And let's all hate these people, because maybe hate is what we need if we're going to get something done.
We do have to remember back to the experience of the first Trump administration.
The cities, unfortunately, that are in trouble are all run by Democrats. You have radical left Democrats running cities like Chicago and so many others that we just had a news conference. And unfortunately, that's the way it is. I mean, that's the facts. When you look at Chicago and you look at the job, Mayor Lightfoot sent me a letter yesterday, and I think in their own way they want us to go in. There'll be a time when they're going to want us to go in full blast, but right now we're sending extra people to help. Chicago is a disaster. The mayor is saying don't come in. The mayor is telling us not to come in. At some point we can void that if we have to, but we may have to at some, because it's out of control. I assume she's saying that for political reasons. I think it's negative political reasons. She's a Democrat. I'm going to be nice. She's a Democrat. She's making a big mistake. People are dying in Chicago and other cities, and we can solve the problem. They have to ask us, but we can solve the problem.
Well, you saw he mentioned Mayor Lori Lightfoot a number of times, and the Mayor of Chicago, Lori Lightfoot, joins me now. Thank you, Mayor. I appreciate it. Give me your reaction to the president. I understand that you two spoke after those remarks.
You know, the president's remarks are politics. You know, obviously he's in the fight for his survival. So I'm not surprised that he is targeting Democratic mayors, whether it's me, whether it's Keisha Lance Bottoms, Jenny Durkin in Seattle, or Muriel Bowser in Washington, D.C. But it doesn't change the fact that we do not want unconstitutional secret federal agents coming into our cities, grabbing our residents and detaining them and violating their rights.
Portland Mayor Ted Wheeler.
Unmarked vehicles driving into crowds, pulling people off the streets without any probable cause, as far as I can tell. And the people who are engaging in those activities aren't even willing to identify who they are, and they don't wear insignia on their uniforms. That's a real threat to democracy.
On Fox News this morning, Acting Department of Homeland Security Secretary Chad Wolf said his agents don't need invitations to do their jobs. On Friday, Oregon Attorney General Ellen Rosenblum sued the Department of Homeland Security and other federal agencies for allegedly violating protesters' civil rights. The suit claims agents in unmarked cars took people off the streets without warrants. The American Civil Liberties Union of Oregon also sued DHS and the U.S. Marshal Service for allegedly violating the rights of journalists and legal observers. Oregon Democrats accuse the president of playing politics.
There's no question in my mind that this is a very cynical ploy on the part of the Trump White House. It's targeting not only the city of Portland, but other democratically controlled cities. And I absolutely believe that the play here is to support his own base.
Democratic Senator Jeff Merkley tweeted he'll seek legislation barring the administration from sending paramilitary squads into U.S. cities. As protests continue across the country, Portland is not the Trump administration's only focus. Today, the Chicago Tribune reported DHS plans to deploy 150 agents in Chicago.
Of course I hate these people, and let's all hate these people, because maybe hate is what we need if we're going to get something done.
With the U.S. presidential elections fast approaching, declarations by the candidates are now coming in fast. Former President and the Republican presidential candidate Donald Trump has now that if he is elected to the White House, he would revoke the temporary protected status for the Haitian migrants in Springfield, Ohio.
In Springfield, what's happening there is horrible. You have a beautiful community, 52,000 people, and about 30,000 people were put into that community rapidly, and the community is so nice and they want to be so politically correct. You have to remove the people. You cannot destroy, we cannot destroy our country. You had a beautiful, safe community. Everyone's in love with everybody. Everything was nice. It was like a picture community. And all of a sudden, in a short period of time, they have 32,000 more people in there. They are, in my opinion, it's not legal. It's not legal for anybody to do. It's not even on a human basis. It's not acceptable to the people that are there, and certainly to the people that are in Springfield. Springfield is such a beautiful place. Have you seen what's happened to it? It's been overrun. You can't do that to people. They have to be removed.
Let's be clear what this is. Trump is saying he's going to deport legal immigrants.
Furthermore, he added his intention to deport them. You have to remove the people, and you have to bring them back to their own country. They are, in my opinion, not legal, Trump said in an interview. On being asked if he would revoke the migrants' temporary protected status, the former president said, "Absolutely. I'd revoke it, and I'd bring them back to their country." Trump and his allies have left no stone unturned in spreading misinformation about the migrants residing in Springfield, who have been in the spotlight since Trump claimed, during his last presidential debate, that the Haitian migrants in Springfield were eating people's pets.
What they have done to our country by allowing these millions and millions of people to come into our country, and look at what's happening to the towns all over the United States. And a lot of towns don't want to talk. It's not going to be Aurora or Springfield. A lot of towns don't want to talk about it because they're so embarrassed by it. In Springfield, they're eating the dogs, the people that came in. They're eating the cats. They're eating the pets of the people that live there. And this is what's happening in our country, and it's a shame.
Recently, when pressed during an interview, Trump answered a question about what his plans were if Haiti refused to accept the migrants. They will, Trump said, without additional details. Well, they're going to receive them, they'll receive them. If I bring them back, they're going to receive them. During his last presidential tenure, Trump ensured that the Department of Homeland Security was strict and aggressive in refusing or ending the protected status given to those in need. In recent weeks, Trump has been continuously stoking anti-immigration sentiments through debunked conspiracy theories, like the one about migrants eating pets in Springfield. After the presidential debate and the pet claim by Trump, Springfield received numerous threats, according to the city's mayor, Rob Rue. Springfield's official website now states, in light of the anti-migrant sentiments, that approximately 12,000 to 15,000 immigrants live in Clark County, which has a population of around 136,000, and that Haitian immigrants are present there legally. Furthermore, Rue, Ohio Republican Governor Mike DeWine and other officials have criticized the rumors, deeming them false and detrimental to the community. On the contrary, the Haitian workers play a pivotal role in the city's economy, undertaking much-needed jobs.
Let's be clear what this is. Trump is saying he's going to deport legal immigrants.
Well, there are multiple cries of racism aimed at the president tonight after he used an expletive to describe several countries that are black majority and lauded the country of Norway, which is majority white. And now even Republicans are calling for an apology. What had been a day of negotiations on an immigration deal.
Deal or no deal, Senator?
No deal yet. There's got to be one because we're running out of time.
Turned into another PR debacle for the president after word leaked out about comments he made in an Oval Office meeting. The Washington Post first breaking the news that when Trump learned of a plan that would restore protections for immigrants from countries like Haiti, El Salvador, and several African nations, the president apparently growing frustrated, leading him to say, "Why are we having all these people from expletive-hole countries come here?" The Post reporting the president then went on to say that the U.S. should bring in more people from countries like Norway. The White House did not verify that the president made those statements, but it has not denied them either.
Using vulgar language, President Trump today questioned why the United States would allow people from Haiti and Africa into the country, describing those places using an expletive while suggesting people from Norway might be more acceptable. He reportedly made the comments during a White House meeting with a bipartisan group of senators. The White House tonight is not denying the president made the remarks. And we want you to know our report includes that expletive once so that you can hear the complete quote for yourself. And of course, it may not be appropriate for some of our younger viewers. NBC's Peter Alexander has details.
The president tonight apparently uncorking another astonishing statement, complaining to lawmakers in the Oval Office about protections for immigrants. Why do we want these people from, quote, all these shithole countries here? According to a Democratic aide familiar with the conversation, Mr. Trump was referring to African nations and Haiti, before suggesting the U.S. should have more people from places like Norway, whose prime minister he met yesterday. A White House spokesman tonight not denying the president's words, but saying certain Washington politicians choose to fight for foreign countries.
Of course I hate these people, and let's all hate these people because maybe hate is what we need if we're going to get something done.
What's your thoughts? Please be respectful with your comments. Also, please click the like, click the notification bell, and subscribe to this channel.
Listen, Genesis chapter 11 verse 10 explains the genealogy of Shem. Shem was a black man in Africa. If you repeat this fact, Genesis 14 verse 13, Abraham steps on the scene. Being a descendant of Shem, which is a fact, means Abraham too was black. Abraham, born in the city of a black man, called Nimrod, grandson of Ham. Ham had 4 sons. One was named Canaan. Here, let me do some explaining. Abraham, Isaac was Jacob had 12 sons. For real, and these were the children of Israel. According to Genesis chapter 10, these were the children of Israel. According to Genesis chapter 10, these were the children of Israel. According to Genesis chapter 10.